Hi, this is Bill, and this is Mufasa Jeep. Today I'm going to go over some of the things that we like doing during the Pigeon Forge Jeep invasion, and just some things that we think are must-dos while we're there. Obviously, this is something that we personally like to do while we're there, so that, maybe you're a little different, maybe you like some other stuff, maybe you've been before and you do other stuff. We would like to hear that as well. So if you have something you've done while you're at the Pigeon Forge Jeep Invasion, something that you love doing and you've done it a couple times, if you've been a couple of years, let us know. Drop that in the comments. We definitely are looking for other things to do outside of what we always do. And for this year, there is something new that we are doing, and I think it's super, super cool. It's Adventure Distilling is going to happen Wednesday, August 20th. And what that is, it's a trail ride, and the benefit, it's a trail ride. It costs $25. It's with the moonshiner, Kelly Williamson. It's his place. It starts at noon to 5 on August 20th. It's a trail ride. They're going to have food trucks, drinks, t-shirts. T-shirts are going to be $30. They'll be there they'll have some available if you didn't pre-order t-shirts. That's about 30 or 40 minutes from Gatlinburg and Cosby, Tennessee. Again, it's Adventure Distilling in Cosby, Tennessee on the 20th, which is a Wednesday. Then other things we like to do is a lot of these things are on the cheaper side or for very little money. So in Gatlinburg, there is a Roaring Fork Motor Nature Trail we like doing. Last year was our first year doing it. We forgot to get the $5 parking pass. So make sure if you do the Roaring Fork Motor Nature Trail, you go ahead and go on the website and get a $5 parking pass before you get there, because they do have rangers rolling around in there. And if you go to park, they could charge you. And I'm sure it's going to be way more than $5 if you get a parking ticket because you didn't already get the $5 parking pass. During that Roaring Fork Motor Nature Trail, there's waterfalls, there's crude bridges if you park and go hike. Lots of nature stuff. There's huge boulders. I climbed a massive one last year and had my wife take a picture of me when I got on top of it because I do silly things. It's just it's a really cool place to get out and see the nature, how beautiful it is over there in Gatlinburg. And it doesn't take that long. You don't have to get out of your car. You can just drive through and still see the falls and stuff like that. One of our next favorite things to do, and this is probably my top one favorite thing to do while we're in the Pigeon Forge Gatlinburg area. Now, this is a little bit outside Pigeon Forge or Gatlinburg. It's in Townsend. So the Townsend Takeover is about 30 minutes from Gatlinburg, and the Townsend Takeover starts on August 22nd through the 24th. And what we typically do is we'll drive over to Cades Cove Outpost, where most of the stuff starts there. They'll have T-shirts, vendors. Obviously, the outpost is there. If you've never been to Cades Cove Outpost and you're a Jeeper, are you really a Jeeper? Like, let's be real. Like, you're going to a place that specifically sells stuff just for Jeepers, shirts, badges, a whole bunch of cool like knickknacks. It's all Jeep stuff inside the store, and it's just really cool place to go visit while you're in the area. So with that being said, we'll start out at the Cades Cove Outpost, Jeep Outpost, and check out all the vendors. We try to get there a little early, and then we'll go ahead and go do the Cades Cove Loop. Now, here's where it gets to my funnest thing to do while we're out of town during the invasion. The Cades Cove Loop is a scenic nature trail where any car, vehicle, you could be in a Honda Civic and do the Cades Cove Loop. It's just a gravel path. More than likely, you're going to see wildlife. You're going to see deers. You're going to see bear. You're going to see wild turkeys, which I had never seen a wild turkey before. And I'm like, who fed crack to the turkeys? Because I'm used to butterballs at Walmart that are like 30 pounds. These look like they're like 5 pounds, but that's a whole different story. Um, so you'll go ahead and go do Cades Cove Loop. Now, if you're in a 4x4 like us, here's where it's my favorite part. So Cades Cove Loop will run into a fork in the road. When you get to the fork in the road, you'll see this big, massive sign. In the big, massive sign, it'll say Parsons Branch Unimproved Road. Then it gives you a disclaimer like you must have a lifted vehicle, 4x4s, something that you should have if you're going to decide to take this trail. Obviously, it's just a trail. There is a lot of steep inclines and steep declines, lots of curves. There's no rail system, so, like, if you go off the path, you might roll down the mountain, but if you're not an idiot, you're gonna be just fine. I would recommend you have 4 by 4. It gets a little bumpy, it just depends on when was the last time they've kinda graded it. Throughout the year, if it's rained a lot, it could get eroded and it becomes a little bit more of a rocky, bumpy path. But for the most part, I would say anybody in a Jeep Wrangler with 4 by 4 is going to be able to do this. And it's not like you got to lock in four wheel low. You're not. And in doing that, you'll see some nature. You'll get to see some awesome views. It's an off-road trail ride. It's going to take the better part of the day to do this whole thing from the Townsend takeover, uh, the Jeep Outpost, and Cades Cove Loop, Parsons Branch. And then what happens is when you finish Parsons Branch, which it's not a race, you're driving a four-wheel drive vehicle up and down pretty gnarly, bumpy roads. You end up dropping off into the Tail of the Dragon. The Tail of the Dragon is 212 curves over several miles. Now, where you end up after you've done Parsons Branch is actually in another state. I believe it's North Carolina, South Carolina, one of the two. Either way. So then it'll take you a little while to get back to either Pigeon Forge or Gatlinburg, wherever you plan on staying for the Jeep invasion. Um, I would say pack a cooler with some drinks if you're doing the same thing we're doing with the Parsons Branch, Cades Cove, and all that stuff because it's a pretty long day. It's going to burn up a whole day if you plan on doing the Townsend takeover, Pigeon Forge. I'm sorry, Townsend's takeover, Cades Cove, and Parsons Branch, which ends up being the tail of the dragon as well. Um, the next thing we always go visit, and it's free to go visit, so it's actually pretty cool. On the Parkway in Pigeon Forge, there's a store called the Three Bears Country Store. It's a massive store. They have fudge inside, T-shirts, trinkets, all this cool stuff. But we go because our first year we didn't get to see a bear. And why do you go to Pigeon Forge or Gatlinburg? You want to see some bears. I wanted to see some bears. We didn't see a single bear. We were like, hey, we got ripped off. There are no bears here. They lied. But that's not true. Go to Three Bears Country Store. You can go upstairs and they have this really cool area outside where you can buy like fruits and vegetables and you get to feed bears. No, you don't get to hand feed the bears. You get to keep your hands. So you go out there, you get to see the cool bears. Usually there's the first year I think there was like three we got to go see. Last year there was only one outside. I'm sure they have times where they are in and out of their little sleeping quarters or whatever, or they take them in and out so they don't have to have the influx of constantly having people staring at them. But Three Bears is one of our have tos every single year, and that's right on the Parkway in Pigeon Forge. Here's the other cool thing about Three Bears. My first year I went, I said, where are all these people getting cool pictures of their rigs with the murals? Well, guess what? Those cool pictures with the murals are directly behind Three Bears store. So if you drive around to their back parking lot, they have a big thing with mountains and it says Pigeon Forge. You see those people with their rigs with Pigeon Forge in the background on a big mural. It looks like the mountains, but it says Pigeon Forge. That's directly behind Three Bears. Also, they have these really cool butterfly wing thingies you could back up to, and it says Pigeon Forge as well. Other cool mural spots that I can think of would be um, just down the street. There's like a candy shop. They have another spot behind the building, just like Three Bears. I would say it's three or four doors down, and that's a mural spot as well. But you could Google mural spots in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, and you're going to find really cool stuff to take pictures of your rigs with. So I kind of geeked out on that stuff. We went and made sure we hit all the mural spots with our rigs because it's just a cool, like, post it up on your socials, and people are like, oh, cool, where'd you get that picture? I like those pictures. I think they're great. The next thing, while in for the Smoky Mountain Jeep invasion, is Hard Rock. Hard Rock usually has a kickoff party, August 20th through the 22nd. Usually they say 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., but let's be honest, we know how Jeepers are. They're going to start filing in at least an hour before. So if you want a good spot for the Hard Rock kickoff party, you're going to want to get there August 20th at 5, 4:30 even sometimes, and the parking lot will fill up. I would say venture to say by 6 o'clock That parking lot is going to be slap full of Jeeps. There's going to be Jeeps as far as the eye can see, probably thousands. And you're going to be searching for a spot if you get there at 6 p.m. on any of those 3 days that they're going to be doing their stuff. But the biggest day, more likely than not, is going to be that August 20th date where it's the kickoff party. The next thing I'm going to get to is Quaker Steak and Lube. Quaker Steak and Lube every night during the main event. So if you went to the LeConte Center on the morning of Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, typically there's one or two places you're going to catch most people after the main event. One of those places is going to be Quaker Steak and Lube. For me, that's one of our favorites to go to. We'll pull in, we'll get there early, the 4 or 5 o'clock, get a good spot because once parking lot fills up, it fills up. Not that people don't leave sporadically through the night from those spots, and you can find a spot if you got there 6, 7, or 8 o'clock. But we'll just say this: once it gets dark out, everybody's Jeep is lit up. There's music coming from several Jeeps. There's people dancing. Jeeps are just driving through. And I think what they're doing, a lot of Jeepers, they do the loop. They'll go out to the parkway and they go up and down the parkway and then they'll come over to Quaker Steak and Loop and zip through and they just do a rotation. For us, we're not going to drive around all night. We're going to park, hang out with friends, meet people that we've met on our socials or maybe interacted with on our socials, and it's one of our favorite things to do. We just pull the top off the Jeep, sit up on the top of the Jeep, watch everybody else, congregate with everybody else. We throw ducks. We have a Nerf tennis ball launcher that we like to drop our ducks in and launch them from one end of the parking lot to the other. So you might end up, if you're around us, with a Jeep that randomly drops from the sky. It's kind of fun, and hopefully we'll get some videos of that this year. Um, a few of the other things that we really like doing while we're there, and these are in Gatlinburg, Anarchista. Anarchista is a very cool place. It costs $35 for adults, and I'm not too sure how much it costs for kids, but obviously it's less than $35. So Anarchista, you pull in, you park, you find somewhere to park in Gatlinburg. You go over, you get on one of the ski lifts. It takes you up the mountain. Once you get to the top of the mountain, there's rope bridges up there. Um, Tons of really awesome picture spots. Probably some of the most epic picture spots are in Anarchista, and it's you can't take your vehicle up there, so it's a picture for you and your family to get with all these different things, and then with really epic views in the background. It's one of our favorite places to go while we're in the Gatlinburg area. It is a little more expensive than some of the other things I've told you could do because I mean obviously $35 per adult is more expensive than driving around or sitting at Quaker Steak and Lube and the other things you could do. So there's epic views, there's rope bridges, they have zip lines, they have mountain coasters. It's a fun place. They have places to eat up there on top of the mountain. They also have brew. So I mean, there's beers and stuff up there you can get. And then at night, even though we haven't done it yet, this year we're going to do it, and it's an add-on of $17. So you have to pay the 35 plus you pay the 17 per adult, and it's called Astro Lumina. Astro Lumina is they light up all these bridges with all these really cool lights and lasers and stuff like that. We have not personally got to see it yet, but this year is going to be our first year for doing that, and we're excited to do that. And maybe we'll make a video after and say, hey, was the $17 per adult was it worth it to us? And we'll let you know. But this year I am very excited to check that out at night. We've went for 3 years, and every year we went to Anarchista because we just enjoy it that much. Um, One of our other favorite things to do, obviously, if you're in the Appalachian area, what's Appalachian known for? It's known for moonshine. And three really big moonshine places are right there in Gatlinburg. My favorite being Sugarlands. Sugarlands has a tasting right there in downtown Gatlinburg. All you do is go visit Sugarlands, and for $5 per adult, you get to taste little thimble-sized things of moonshine, and usually they'll have a handful that they'll let you taste while you're there. And then if you do what we did last year, you went from one to the next to the next. Um, you got to be careful doing that because you end up ripped and stumbling down the parkway if you're there all day. So we get there early. We do all the tastings. We start with, one of the big three. So we talked about Sugarlands. Now we'll talk about Old Smoky. Old Smoky's the same thing. Takes about 20 or 30 minutes for you to do the tasting. but they can bring out these little thimble sized things. They actually have really great people. Both of them have really great people that explain the moonshine to you. They have it's almost like a comedy hour because they have a lot of jokes. They make it a lot of fun, and you do it with a bunch of people. Like last year was four of us, and then it's a big round thing, and there's a bunch of people you'd never even met before, and you all sit there and you drink together these little thimbles of moonshine, and pick your flavors, and obviously they have deals while you're there. Of what you've tasted, and go, if you buy five you get six free, stuff like that. So it's a fun time, and it doesn't really cost that much, and it's probably the cheapest way to get ripped while in Gatlinburg. And the last one, which we haven't done yet, is the Tennessee Shine Co. I went on their website today to see, they're all right there within walking distance of each other. They didn't have a price posted for their tasting, but they do tastings as well. I would believe that they're probably right around that standard $5 to do the tasting, and it did say it took about 20 to 30 minutes to do the tasting. So that was just some of the stuff that we like doing, and we know for this year we're definitely going to be doing, as we've been for 5 years now. This will be our fifth year going to the Smoky Mountain Jeep Invasion, one of our most favorite events all year. I look forward to it all year. So if you see us in Tennessee, stop and say hi. Also, if you have any ideas for future videos, drop it in the comments. Also, if you have a favorite thing to do during the Smoky Mountain Jeep Invasion, drop that in the comments too, because although we've seen a lot while we've been there for the last 5 years, there's things that we have probably missed, and maybe we're missing something really great, and you guys are hip to what those are, and let us know because we are always looking for ideas. Also, always thank you for watching our videos. We can't wait for the Smoky Mountain Jeep Invasion. We will make tons of videos while we're there. So like, subscribe, and comment, and look forward to all these videos coming up, because it's going to be better content, I think, than just our talking videos in our driveway here in Southwest Florida. So we look forward to seeing everybody there. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching our videos. And like, subscribe, and comment. Thank you.